the reason why I started the business was I had a baby, and she was a very unsettled baby, colic, reflux, etc. And I had a really good job with a law firm at the time, and I just thought, I can't leave her with child. I just can't leave her anywhere. I have to create a job that allows me to have time with my child.
Welcome to The Glass Ceiling, the podcast where business leaders share their stories, struggles and triumphs.
There is a lot in that. There's a lot of learning.
We sort of had different views on how the business should be ran.
The next 10 years looks like for South Australia.
Startup's the easiest. I'm your host, Marissa Hankinson from Wavebreaker, and I'm passionate about amplifying their voices. Join me as we explore the highs and lows of innovation, entrepreneurship and leadership. From founders to CEOs, our guests will share their insights, experiences and advice on how to succeed and make a lasting impact. Get ready for inspiring conversations and valuable lessons. Let's shatter the glass ceiling, one story at a time. Welcome to The Glass Ceiling. Can I ask you to introduce yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Marina Walkley.
And what do you do, Marina?
I run a conveyancing business called Conveyancing Solutions SA.
And where about?
We have an office in Mawson Lakes and we have a satellite office in the city.
Great stuff. So what got you into conveyancing? We'll go down the career path.
Okay, I actually, quite honestly, I fell into this job, into conveyancing jobs. So my journey started overseas, and as I progressed, where I was born to, where I went to uni, it was in New Zealand, and my first job in a law firm was a receptionist, and I started helping a paralegal there who did conveyancing. And that was sort of interesting for me. And when I moved to Australia, I had a job with a law firm, starting up, young and fairly low in the chain. Always been helping out with conveyancing, and then I've sort of built myself up to do wills, estates, did a conveyancing course. I've stopped. I didn't finish a law degree, but I'm happy with that. I think I've made the right choice for me and my family in terms of the career, and here we are.
Okay, so you said overseas, so I didn't know you lived in New Zealand. So where were you before that? So
Russia. I was born in Russia, and when we were 13, me and my brother, our family immigrated to New Zealand.
Okay.
So we lived there for about 7 years, and in 2003 we moved to Adelaide.
Was there any reason that you left Russia?
It was 90s, dangerous, just very, very different lifestyle back then, mafia driven. So parents wanted a better life for us.
So Russian, so you went to New Zealand. Did you speak English?
ABC 1, 2, 3. So very basic. It's like when you go to school here and take a language at school. So it's very basic. When you go to a country, you can't really string a sentence together per se. So we learnt it at school in New Zealand.
So you were 13. How old is your brother?
13. So it's my stepbrother. So we're both the same age.
So how was that starting? You would have been in high school?
Yes. So Russian education is a little bit different to our system. New Zealand is similar to Australia. We almost finished high school in Russia.
Oh.
So you finish high school, well, back then, about 15 years old, and then 16, 17, you go to uni. So we almost finished high school in Russia, then we moved to New Zealand, and we started first year, what's year 7 here?
So year 7 would be 12?
12, so we were 13, so year 8. Yeah. We started high school in New Zealand. They put us in ESOL class, so it's a class for people who English is their second language.
Yep.
And which was interesting. We made lots of friends. There were some other Russian kids there, Ukrainian kids, and which helped us through, I suppose. And putting us into, and then I think it was 2 months later, we've been put into mainstream class, and that was just, you have to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just no other option.
So then you were in New Zealand until you finished high school?
Finished high school, went to uni, didn't finish uni. Me and my partner at the time, or boyfriend, I was 20 years old, we decided to move in together, but instead of moving in New Zealand, we moved to Australia.
Yeah, because they have like reciprocal visas or working and things like that, don't they?
Back then it was, I think it's vice versa. You can do the same. You're presumed as a citizen here.
And have you always been in Adelaide?
Yes. I've visited. I mean, I've got an older sister, so I'm one of four. So my older sister moved to Adelaide first. We came to visit, loved it, moved here. She moved to Sydney. So we've been sort of like visiting everywhere.
Yeah. Great stuff. So how long have you had the business?
10 years.
10 years. And what kind of size business is it from?
So from me, one person, to it's now 9 of us.
9? Wow. So do you have just a general interest in property? Is that is that your thing?
Yes. I've always been interested in commercial law, and that was part of my, I suppose, starting my career and studying a law degree. But yeah, always interested in commercial and property. Yeah. I decided to continue by diving into conveyancing.
Yeah. So what was I know that obviously the Adelaide property market. Do you do national or is it just the Adelaide property market?
South Australia.
Just South Australia. So where did you find your biggest growth? Where, was it that, that magic 21, 22 where everyone seemed to be buying property in Adelaide, or is it just been a consistent build up of time to go from 1 to 9? What was the challenges with that growth?
It was, I was thinking about it and sort of looking back. It was fairly quick. I didn't realise how quickly it will take off. The reason why I started the business was I had a baby, and she was a very unsettled baby, colic, reflux, etc. And I had a really good job with a law firm at the time, and I just thought, I can't leave her with child. I just can't leave her anywhere. I have to create a job that allows me to have time with my child. When I started, it sort of just grew. I don't know. It's just, I did not realize it. So I had 1 month in the beginning of the first year that was quiet. The rest, it's just every month more and more and more, and
just
it built on.
So how have you got your clients? How have people found out about you? Because, for me, I look at it and go, well, are you only going to buy a house once every 5 years? Yeah. So where's that growth come from?
A lot of repeat business, a lot of clients. Initially, I remember I guess incorporated a company, did a business name, etc., did my business cards, and I sat in the car looking at my business card and going, now what? Because obviously I wouldn't take any clients from my previous job. It's just not how I operate. So I called a couple of friends of mine who were real estate, or they are still real estate agents, and just went and met them, had a chat, and then I found a office in Mawson Lakes, decided on Mawson Lakes, not that I lived there, just for some reason. My gut feeling was, back then, and my gut feeling was, the rent was fairly reasonable, and might as well. There isn't a conveyance in Mawson Lakes, so I found a rental office there, spread my cards around, and people started calling, and through service, and networking, a lot of network.
So where did you network?
I've been to a few breakfasts. I've never really, not that I've tried, I couldn't commit to a BNI.
No, that makes sense. Yeah,
because of
family.
A little, baby couldn't commit to the breakfast. But I've attended a lot of networking. I took opportunities when there were women in business, property, any other networking groups relating to properties. Yeah. I've attended, or businesses in Australia or South Australia, I attended, and through friends,
just growing your network.
Yeah, and a lot of repeat clients.
So what do you think is key around that service and looking after clients?
I would say you need to, and It's interesting. It comes from, maybe, I'm not sure, English is my second language, and a lot of my clients are immigrants, and you've got to treat them like you treat your family. You've got to help them. You've just got to be really helpful and make the process as easy as possible. It's their biggest investment. For some people, like you said, they use a conveyancer once because they buy a house once.
Yeah.
And you've got to make that experience not only enjoyable, but also stress-free, and help them. Just very helpful. I and my team would just work together to make sure we provide the best service for them.
Is that what you're saying? Is that sort of like from somebody who, I'm from the UK, you're obviously, it's such a different market to try and even navigate and understand. So do you do that like hand-holding a little bit with your clients, because it's so different?
Yes, a lot. And I make sure I'm available to them with any question.
So do you have any other plans if it's continuing, do you got other plans to expand?
It would be nice, yeah, of course. So we've, the team is growing, and I think I won't stop until, there's no limit. I'm not going to limit myself or the team. If we grow, awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah. That's a good position to be in. So, it's 10 years old, the business. Congratulations. That's a big milestone. 10 years. You've got 9. Do you envisage going interstate? Do you help people who are trying to buy property from interstate into South Australia?
Yes. I have quite a few interstate clients that are investors in South Australia, and definitely help them. Yes, the answer to the first question, I've actually wanted to do that a few years ago. We've got, Australia nationwide, there's one settlement platform that all conveyancers, solicitors, banks use called PEXA, which allows conveyancers, solicitors to practice from their state, interstate, etc. In terms of conducting settlements. However, each state has their own jurisdiction, so it's a little bit different. So we need to, myself or conveyancers that work with me, we would need to update our license.
Oh yes, that's very similar to like building and things like that. You have to be licensed in each state.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of always been the plan. Melbourne, I've got a lot of contacts in Melbourne too, and opportunities to outsource work, source work from there. But to be quite honest, haven't had the time.
No, well, I'm not surprised. You're running a business, you've got 9 staff and all these transactions that you have to do. Have you seen an increase in interstate purchasing in South Australia based on our market and what's happening?
Yes, absolutely, especially since COVID.
Right.
Yes, a lot of interstate buyers in South Australia. Our prices have increased significantly, obviously, but initially compared to interstate prices, they were still quite reasonable. People could afford properties, and a lot of people invested in South Australia.
Do you think it's having an impact on South Australians trying to buy within our state based on the fact that interstate may have that more surplus to be able to purchase to drive the price up?
In my opinion, yes. And it's great, but it's also, I worry for our kids. How are they going to afford a house at the rate that the prices are rising? Luckily, we've got these incentives now that the government's put out, first homeowners and first homeowners grants and reliefs, etc. So
and stamp duties are
stamp duty relief. So
is a big one.
Yeah, exactly.
It is
exactly. So that helps. But yes, it is. In my opinion, it's harder to purchase properties now. The prices have increased significantly based on the demand.
Yeah, I went to an auction the other week to try and purchase something, and it'd been on fire, this house. It was an established 3-bedroomed house. It was not being purchased for development. and it went for like $680,000 for something you can't live in. Like it was just crazy. And I was, I think everyone has a limit on what they're going to pay, but I was like $150,000 more than we would have envisaged. It was just like, it's silly price.
Yes.
At the moment for what's going on, and you just really feel for those people because you go into an auction and things like that. There's like 50, 60 people there.
Yes.
Same as if you're going for a rental or whatever. There's just so much demand that it is driving that price. So if you were, we talked about first home, Grant, what do you have any advice that you would give to somebody if they were buying their home for the first time?
Yes. At the moment, try and buy something new off the plan or brand new property that's never been lived in, because that's when you get the most incentives. Unfortunately, there aren't any grants on established properties at the moment.
Yeah.
If someone can look into buying or building, that would probably be the best way to go at the moment.
Yeah, and then we've got a whole other different scenario when it comes to building and demand.
Well, that's the thing.
But they are around, and the government, state government, has released the most land it ever has, so that's a good thing.
Yes, exactly. There's few developments around, so few new releases.
So that should be good. You dropped out of uni studying law. Then how did you become a conveyancer?
Working in a law firm, hands-on practice, helping conveyancers that we've had in the law firm. There was a period of time where they were either part-time or we keep losing them. So I would step in, and I understood the subject very well, so it was quite easy for me. So based on that, I decided to complete the diploma and become a registered conveyancer.
Great stuff. I've actually got a question. You're obviously a business owner now. Did your family come from business?
Yes. So my parents, and my mum is an accountant and my stepdad is an engineer. So back in Russia, they had businesses. My stepdad had a factory, engineer. He was an engineer, so he was making huge compressors, and they had a shop selling the compressors to various. I guess they were like a supplier, and my mum was an accountant. So and there were other businesses that they've created. So I've always been interested in that, in running my own business. But the biggest push was, honestly, to create time with my family.
Yeah. And do you get time? Because sometimes they turn around and say...
Actually not. And that's the thing with running a business. What you think or in your mind you'll have, you don't. So it's a constant juggle. Life work balance, 0.
Yes.
You never switch off. But now I'm at the stage. So my goal was, honestly, the driving force was to have time. To be able to look after my kid. That happened years after, as I've built the business and I created a team. So my team is like my life support. So without them, I wouldn't be able to. It'll just be me. So,
at the beginning,
that's right. At the beginning, no, you sacrifice your time, sleep, your personal time. You just work hard to get to the stage that you need to be. But I think I've reached that now, where I can have time. I went to Japan, took the kids to Japan, so that was cool.
Yes, you can have time.
That's right.
Yeah. It's you think you go from an employed role of like 38 hours a week or whatever, thinking that you can manage your calendar and manage your time. It's just you end up working at midnight instead of working, when your kid's awake or whatever.
Exactly.
Where it happened. Well, congratulations on that. Because I think that's a big achievement. And the fact that you've just been to Japan and Disneyland and had the school holidays off and enjoyed that's something. And the business ran itself.
That's right. Exactly. At the stage where the team have it under control, really. Yeah.
So where did we obviously you've got parents with businesses, but do you have anybody that you look up to in business outside of family that you take inspiration from, or do you have your own mentor? Has there been anybody in your life that's impacted?
So interestingly, apart from obviously my family's my driving force for everything, mentor, not so my friends, my peers. I have friends who run businesses and we bounce ideas off each other and call each other, and, you know, not that you complain, but you have a little bit of a, what do we do? So not so much mentor, but friends and peers. With businesses.
And is that the CSR project that you do? Is that would you class them as your peers, or how did that come about?
No, a CSR. So you mean
is that the one?
SRP? SRP, right? That's a
sorry. No, social responsibility project.
That's right.
And I've gone for corporate social responsibility. SRP, sorry.
SRP. So that was created based on my partner. One of his million jobs is he heads a couple of teams in Salvation Army, and through that and huge network of people that he knows, we've created an SRP project to assist or help kids, and I mean kids up to 21 years old that in South Australia with jobs, education, anything to help them to take them off the streets. So
that like focusing on youth homelessness?
Youth homelessness, essentially, exactly. So that's separate to my business. This is a passion to help people. And I think if you give, not that you give, you receive, but if you get, you've got to give.
Yeah.
So we do our own private things with my partner where we support charities or kids that are home, through homelessness, or if they ran away from families, abuse, etc. We do our own things there, and then we've created SRP project with 3 other large businesses together to help raise awareness and obviously help children in South Australia.
And is there an increase in that now? I think I did go to one of your events, and they were saying that there is, unfortunately, the salvos are getting hit quite a lot with the just demands at the moment with what's happening.
Yes, lots of homelessness throughout. Yes, and I think, I don't know if I can say COVID.
No, you can.
That has a huge impact. People's mental health and financial. Cause so much homelessness around that. It's sad. It's terrible. So all we can do is help, or try to.
So if anybody wants to find out more about SRP, how could they do that?
So we've got through social media, Instagram, Facebook.
And what's that, just SRP project?
Yep, SRP project.
Okay.
And
is it SIP or SRP? Am I saying that wrong?
So social responsibility project.
SRP project. Okay. And if someone wanted to find out about Conveyancing Solutions, how could they do that?
Call me. Email, Facebook. I don't know if I've got an Instagram, but Facebook, LinkedIn, website.
Yeah. So is it
Google? What's your Conveyancing Solutions SA.
Okay. All right. Brilliant. And that's all in the show notes as well. But thank you so much, Marina, for joining me on The Glass Ceiling. It was a pleasure to find out a little bit more about you and your business, and congratulations on 10 years.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Glass Ceiling. If you've liked what you heard, please subscribe, as we'd love to have you as part of our community. We're grateful to our guests for sharing their inspiring stories and insights with us. This podcast was brought to you by Wavebreaker. Join us next time as we shatter the glass ceiling, one story at a time.